Hey Mellards, it's Sunday, and we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to experience this video in the same way I experienced the show, with the lights off, staring at my ceiling. Obviously not all the lights are off because I have this laser starlight that I don't turn off, so you can see all of the pretty stars. But the actual lights are off in my room. So today, I went to a show called 1,000 Ways, put on by La Jolla Playhouse, which is in California. I assume in La Jolla, but I don't actually know that. I will put a link down in the doobly-doo to their tickets. The show is still going through next Sunday, so there will still be tickets available. It was a unique experience. It's a phone call show. It lasts roughly an hour. And it is, they call it a triptych, but essentially it is a performance that's really between two audience members. So each section has two audience members, and then they call it an AI, but it's very clearly a person using a voice filter because they react to your questions in such a way that they can't be an actual AI. Like, no AI is actually that smart. So it's a person using a voice filter, and they essentially just ask a set of get to know you sort of questions, but not the normal ones, a little bit more abstract, and lead you in some thought exercises like a wandering through the desert or sleeping out in the desert and looking at the stars, which is what I'm doing right now, except, not in the desert. And so throughout the experience, you are answering questions and the other audience member who's with you is answering questions. But they say early on that this is not a conversation. It might seem like a conversation at times, but it's not. And that's interesting because it really draws on things differently. And obviously your experience is completely unique because it's all about the other person that you're with. And weirdly, you get to know a lot about this person without getting to know, I would say, the things that you normally would know about a stranger you meet. For example, I don't know the name of the person I went with, and I have only the vaguest sense of how they look. They've got brown, like dark brown, maybe black hair, and brownish green eyes, and that's it. But I do know some other random facts about this person, like that his older sister once literally lit his homework on fire. And I know that he plays a lot of musical instruments and that he constantly drums on some surface at any given time. And he knows interesting things about me. Knows my love of Harry Potter, which I suppose is not that unique, but also knows that one of the things I remember about my friend from elementary school is his birthday, even though I don't necessarily remember a lot of other things. So you're just guided through this series of questions that range from the what color is your hair, how are you sitting, what's to your left, what's behind you, what is something you can see on the wall, what's the floor made out of, those sorts of questions. A series of questions like, have you ever been to a pharmacy? Have you ever been to France? Do you know how to drive a manual? Questions like, who's somebody that you love? What are things you carry with you? And then we had moments where we were led to describe the other person. So you imagine the other person in your space with you. How are they sitting? What are they holding? That sort of stuff. And so it was an interesting guided journey, sort of a line between like a speed dating event, not that it was romantically involved because it definitely wasn't, but the kind of silly questions that they sometimes do at speed dating events. So a mix between that and like a guided meditation. And it's not narrative, although it does have an ending where you say goodbye. It clearly is just a chance to connect with somebody in a very different way. But a connection that is also very fleeting because you don't know anything necessarily real about this person that would allow you to find them again, which is really interesting. So I've made this connection, a connection that might feel very intimate just in what you know, but is essentially still with a complete stranger at the end of the day. It was a fascinating show. I'm glad I went. Megan also went, had an enjoyable time. And like I said, there's a link down there. If this sounds like something you want to try, it's available for the next week. So check out the show. Let me know if you have ever been to a pharmacy or a farm or France. I can't remember what all the other F things were. A football game. And I'll see you tomorrow.